Hey everyone, and welcome back to our Let's Play series for Football Manager 2016. Episode 8 today, and this time around we're going to get stuck into our game, our away game against Wolfsburg in the Champions League, which should be quite good. So pick up exactly where we've picked up from the last episode. We're going to continue from there. So we've got a game against Wolfsburg, as I just mentioned, which should be good. Van Rijn going to miss Wolfsburg game, that's fine. We've got Kenny T available there, which is fine. Backroom advice meeting. Actually nothing really interesting here, I don't think. Recommends good players. Zoran Tosic, he was for Man United, wasn't he, for a little bit? Yeah. Been at CSKA Moscow for a while. He's not interested, he's not a Dutch player, so we're not particularly interested. I actually think we are going to change our recruitment strategy. I've been looking at it a little bit. I'm not quite sure we're actually going to be able to win the Champions League with just Dutch regions. So I think I'm going to make a change and actually go for Scandinavian regions as well. So Dutch and Scandinavian is going to be the only two players, only two sort of nationalities or ethnic groups, whatever you want to call them, areas that we can actually recruit from. So I think that'll be the change, but it won't come into effect until the next transfer window. Maybe even in the end of this season, so maybe next season. We'll see what happens though. So all this is pretty standard. I'm actually going to do a little bit of analysis on Wolfsburg. I don't really know too much about them, so I'm going to do a little bit of analysis before we jump into the game. So hopefully that'll be interesting and useful for you guys, but we'll do that in a tick. Young Ajax have won their game, which is good. Actually double check see how both our B team and under 19s are going. So Young Ajax actually sort of not doing too well, actually sitting 15th, so what, 4th, 5th last. So not doing amazingly well, it's not too bad, I'm not really too worried about that. What about our under 19s, how are they going? 5th in their group, so that's not too bad really, doing okay. It's always good if your B and under 19 teams do well, but it's not mandatory, but it is obviously good if they're winning and all that kind of stuff, so that's good. So their coach has been speaking pretty highly of me. How much do you value praise of opposition managers? Might as well be nice. It means a lot to know that you're impressing your fellow professionals, so we'll go with that one. Unusual to hear a manager praising your opponent like this before a match. Do you think your positivity could be seen as an inferiority complex? Not at all. I've heard it all now. No, I don't think it would be seen as an inferiority complex. Dieter is a good manager, but I think I'm better. Awesome. There we go. Have some nice positive comments there, followed up with some smack talk, so we'll see what impact that has. Probably not a lot, really. But anyway. Like I've said before, the press conferences and the questions, I don't know. They don't really do anything for me. They don't really immerse me in the game. They don't really seem to do anything. They seem like a little bit tacked on for me, but that's just me personally. I know some people do like them, actually. I think probably the majority don't. Anyway, that's fine. They're in there and I don't have to do them, so I can get rid of them if I want to. Have a quick look around the leagues, actually. So most of them are sort of 8 to 10 games in. So the Spanish league, Barcelona, Real Madrid at the top, not really too much of a surprise there. There's not really any major surprise in terms of teams and all that kind of stuff there. So, although Real Sociedad's doing a lot better in the game they are in real life. So they actually lost another game overnight. So what's the date today? It's 1st of November today, so actually did lose another game overnight. So Mr. Moyes is going to be probably out of a job there quite soon, I think, unless they pick up their results. Arsenal's still on top by 4 points, which is a little bit interesting. So they've opened up an early lead. Man United's actually starting to come back as well. So they did actually beat Man City in the derby. It was actually at Man City too, so that was a 1-0 victory to United there. So that was a big derby win for them. Liverpool's doing okay. Southampton's doing pretty well. Where's Tottenham though? They're not in the picture, are they? Down in 12th, dear me. French league. Paris Saint-Germain actually not running away, which is a little bit surprising. They normally do. Bayern sitting on top, Dortmund's in 3rd. It's pretty interesting there. Serie A, Juventus actually on top now. Roma. No real surprises. There's nothing really too exciting anywhere there, so that's fine. So, Man United beat Sporting 3-0, which is good for them. Alrighty, we're going to do some analysis on Wolfsburg. So we're going to jump in here. Come to the team reports, the senior squad. We're going to do the overview thing here. Excuse me, guys. Alrighty, so looking at this, we've got obviously their goalkeeper is a very good player here. 32-year-old Swiss player there. Dante he's from Bayern, wasn't he? Must have moved there last season. He did 3.2 million. Pretty good player, quite slow though. So obviously very good at marking, tackling, positioning, all that kind of stuff. But he is quite slow. That could be something we could potentially exploit. Luis Gustavo, a very, very good player. He was at Bayern as well, wasn't he? A couple of seasons ago. 2 seasons ago. Very, very good player. Always really rated him, actually. Very impressive. think he's one of the only ones that actually came out of the World Cup for Brazil with any sort of shred of credit. I actually thought he did relatively well. After the, I suppose when you're playing a team with David Luiz, it wasn't too hard to actually look good in those World Cup games. He was terrible. Not that I really think he's any good anyway. I've never really rated him. I think he's an absolute rubbish player. But anyway, Andre Schell, obviously he's quite a decent player, very, very quick, good, some physicals there. Max Cruz as well. One of the starlets of the game. Or starlets, I shouldn't say. He's 27, isn't he? He's not really young anymore. One of the good players of the game. Cool, so it doesn't really tell us too much. Obviously, we know that a lot of their players and all that kind of stuff. So probably the most important thing we're going to do, look at what their tactics they've used. So they've been fairly consistent. They've started all but 2 of their games with the 4-4-1-1, which is this formation here. So you can sort of see in terms of how these where these little icons, I guess, how far up and down the pitch they are in terms of like what roles they've got. So it looks like they've actually got a completely flat black back line, which is really quite rare. Normally you'd have your fullbacks like a little bit more attacking, so these little icon things would be a little bit up. So for example here, like we can actually see Schell is the most attacking midfielder out of these 4, I think. Although it looks like Caliguri, it's probably about the same. Luis Gustavo, as we would expect, is the most defensive in there, and this guy in the middle here is pretty sort of normal, so it gives us a little bit of an idea. They're probably more attacking down the left-hand side than they are down the right. But I guess it depends how they play, so it doesn't really tell us too much there, so we can jump back into the team reports here. What are we going to look at? We're going to look at some goals, where they should get their goals from. Nothing too much in terms of goals scored. Nothing too sort of stands out in terms of goals conceded either, so nothing really telling me there. About assist locations, get most of their goals down the flanks, so that's a little bit interesting. Have to probably keep an eye on their wingers potentially, and potentially their fullbacks as well if their fullbacks get a long way forward. And they actually concede a lot on their flanks too, actually, mostly down their right hand side. Actually, that would be their left, wouldn't it? Because it's coming this way. So I'm not sure if it turns around. I'm not sure if it's all sort of one pitch or whether it's, I can't remember. Anyway, all the way down this side, we'll have to keep an eye on that. So goal assists, there's nothing too much that stands out here. Mostly passes, a few crosses here and there. Goal types, mostly placed shots. 4 overhead kicks though, so 4 headers. So it's not really telling me too much, to be perfectly honest. I suppose we could come in and look at the comparison in here. So it's made defense. Nothing too much really. This is useful, but it can be, you don't want to be sort of don't want to sort of bet your house on these stats, because obviously it's an aggregate thing of all their players. So even the ones that aren't playing or the ones that may be injured and things like that. So, for example, for like Dante, so we can actually look at here in terms of their defense and say they're actually quite a quick defensive team, but we know that Dante is actually quite slow. So, maybe there are other defenders are, but he's not. So, that's something to keep into consideration. They're quite good in long shots. Stamina's a lot better than ours in midfield and tackling. So nothing really stands out there too much though. We're actually better in passing, vision, technique and decisions, so we should be able to play our possession football game against them. In terms of attack, they're not particularly quick. In terms of heading, they're not particularly good at heading. We're actually better at jumping, which is a little bit surprising. Anticipation, finishing, so they're actually sort of on aggregate, they're not really all that better than us. They've got some better sort of individual players, but nothing really jumped out at me there. So I think we're going to start in our stock standard formation. I don't think there's probably any point in doing anything else there. Kenny T's going to come back into the game and start another game in the Champions League, so he's doing quite well. And what else have we got here? Sillerson's going to come back into goal. Where are we? Veltman and Heitinger are both okay in terms of conditions, so that's fine. Boylison's going to come back in as left back. He's been playing the best out of the 2 left backs, so we'll get going with him. What else have we got? Nemanja G is going to come into defensive mid. Shone's on the right. Fisher's on the left. Milik's up front. Serrero's in midfield. Claessen's in there. So I don't think I'm actually going to change any of this. Probably bring on Eunice at some stage, get his max sharpness going. But yeah, I think that's pretty much good. That's probably our best team, I think, is probably sitting there, apart from... actually, no, that is our best team. Got a couple injuries, but they're probably not, in our best 11 anyway. So that's fine. I think we're actually going to bring in... I think we're trying to bring in Mr. Bazaware in here. Probably in for Riederwald, actually. I think we're going to bring him in place of Riederwald. Cool. Actually, no, Riederwald wants some games, don't you? So we'll put you in. Can we start you? You want some games. Can we start you in place of Heitinger? How's Heitingham been playing? 7.2, Riedewald's 6.8, yeah. Don't think we can. I think Heiting is still our best defensive option at left there, so Riedewald's just going to have to get some games elsewhere. Alright guys, I think it's going to be our formation for the game, our lineup, our formation, so that's good. Too surprising there. They should be, it's their home game. Like I said, pretty much stock standard formation. There's nothing too amazing there that I'm looking at. Luis Gustavo is actually coming in at left back, which is a little bit interesting. So this is what I sort of actually see here. It looks like their right back is going to be a hell of a lot more attacking than their left back. Their left back actually looks like he's going to be on a defender duty, I think, because he's actually sort of this little shirt icon is actually lower than these two defensive guys. So a little bit surprising there. So obviously I think they're going to be ultra defensive on their left and quite attacking on their right with their fullback here. So on their right is obviously means on our left, so we have to keep an eye on that. Probably does work in our favour because Boyleson is actually on the support duty, whereas Kenny T is on the attacking duty there. So, and we do have Serrero over on this side of the box-to-box, so hopefully that should give us a little bit more protection on this left-hand side. So I'm not really too worried about that. I'm not going to change anything yet. I'm not going to go with any opposition instructions. We're going to encourage the players and just tell them, say, do well. Our assistant can do individual talks. They didn't really do anything either. Alrighty guys, I'm going to play the game through and we'll be back with some results at some stage. Alrighty guys, and we're back. Quite a disappointing 3-2 loss to Wolfsburg. I mean, before the game, it's an away game against Wolfsburg, probably who should be the second strongest team in the group. So before the game, I would have thought we would have lost it, but actually the way the game went, I'm really disappointed that we did lose it. So something else to say, there's a lot of positive performance. I suppose I should go with that because it's because obviously we were the underdogs and stuff, but I was disappointed. I'm going to show you guys the highlights. We conceded a shocking own goal. I'm not sure, it looks, I suppose it's okay, I suppose it's legitimate, it just looks like a bit of a bug. Anyway, we're sitting in third at the moment, so actually, yeah, so on the same points, but actually, should have a better goal difference than Wolfsburg. I'm not quite sure why we're sitting third. Maybe it's the head-to-head result. Anyway, so what we're going to do, we're going to look at the goals for this game. So we're going to jump forward a bit. This is the first goal for Wolfsburg. Shocking defending by us. I was very disappointed by this. And this is actually what I made a bit of a change after this. I'll show you when it happens. So I send a long ball out here to Shell. And what happened here, this is what happens here. This is their right back. And we can see that Fisher doesn't track their right back, which basically leaves us a little bit isolated out here on this right flank. Boyleson retreats back in, which leaves Serrero 2-on-1. Fisher's too late to come back, and then their right back gets a cross in, and Cruz we get a deflection off our own play and knocks it in, so that was disappointing. After that, I actually set Fisher to man mark their right back to make sure that he would track back all the time. It did make quite a bit of difference, and we did score the next goal. Kenny T scored a good goal, so here we have the ball coming in off a throw-in. Serrero sends in, and Kenny T gets the follow-up there, which after the first one hit the post, that was a fairly good goal. They score another goal here, which was a bit disappointing. This was terrible defending. So you can see here, sort of the same thing happened. Fisher didn't quite track back their guy well enough. It didn't really impact this play though, but yeah. So it bounces off Heiting there, and Cruz gets the follow-up, and then, they get the bounce off there. So some really slack defending combined with some real sort of unluckiness. Yeah, and then they actually got a red card. The goal scorer got sent off quite soon after this, which would have been, I would have thought that we would have sort of come through a little bit better than what we actually did. They had their guy sent off, and then we had Sillison actually scored an own goal, which was very disappointing here. So actually, you want to watch this one? If the game gets going, come on, let's go. Yep, so obviously it was from a free kick. They send the ball out there wide, and Jung gets right to the byline and then sends it in, and that's the goal. So it says it was an outgoing by Sillison, I suppose. I'm not sure whether he stepped over the line. I suppose stuff like that happens in real life. It is frustrating when you see it on the game, though. It's sort of hard to comprehend how that actually happens. Anyway, and then we finally had our last goal by Klaassen here. So a fairly good goal by Davy Klaassen. Won the ball back there in midfield. Klaassen gets the ball. Actually starts the move, doesn't he? Riedewald out to Nuri, and then he sends it into Klaassen. El Ghazi And he slots it through to Klaassen, who makes a good run and slots it home. So that is really, really good. So good goal by Klaassen. It was disappointing, like I said. I think we did fairly well overall. We shaded the possession, actually had more shots, same amount of shots on target. I think we did, yeah. It's probably just their sort of individual quality, which has ended up winning the game for them. So Kenny T needs a bit of a rest. Going to see if he wants a rest for the next game. I've been feeling fatigued. All right, so he needs a rest. So hopefully that means that he's not going to complain about not getting enough game time. So, excuse me. Yeah, so hopefully that should be good. Manu G's actually going to miss the next game against Wolfsburg, our home game, so it's interesting. Muller reports on training, some training reports here. There's nothing too exciting here. I think I'm going to jump ahead to the next game. I may actually even play the next game through and actually jump through to the next game against Go Ahead Eagles in the Dutch Cup. Actually, know what I'll do? I'll just keep playing through the Vitesse game. Then I'll jump through, after that, I'll jump through all the way to the next Champions League game. So I'll sort of skip over the Go Ahead Eagles game, which is just a Dutch Cup game. So we should do fairly well against them. Be highly surprised if we don't. So I'm just going to keep coming through some of these messages. There's nothing too much here. Nothing too exciting. Alrighty, keep coming through. Almost game time against the Vitesse. Actually sitting second at the moment, so they usually don't do this well, but obviously because they're the feeder club for Chelsea, so they actually do have quite a few of Chelsea's players, which mean they're probably punching above their weight a little bit more than what they normally do. I think half of Chelsea's, half of the Vitesse team is actually Chelsea loan players, which is frustrating. But anyway, we're going to check out the team actually, see how many loan players they actually do have, because I know in real life they've actually got a ridiculous amount of loan players in. So we'll see. I'm assuming it's going to be exactly the same on the game, but we'll double check. Nothing too much interesting in here. United beat Everton, so that was a good result for them. Under 19s beat and won another game, so they're up to third now, which is good. And I think our B team won another game, so they hopefully moved up a little bit as well, up to 13th now. So hopefully both of them start getting some good results in. Alrighty, almost game time against Vitesse, and we're going to jump in and have a look at their team, their squad. Don't have too many people on loan, I suppose. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think they're all Chelsea players. On loan from Chelsea. On loan from Villarreal. Chelsea. 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 Yeah, so they got 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 loan players from Chelsea, which is it's not too bad really. It's a fair bit though. Yeah, it's okay. Alright, we're going to do a little bit of a quick have a look at them, their summary. Actually, their overview here. So they've got some decent players in their back line. No one really in their forward line that should sort of, in terms of quality, should really come up against us too badly. Going to do a quick little view in terms of their tactics. So they sort of, most of the time it's a 4-2-1-3. They do play actually a 3-4-3, which is a little bit unusual. I haven't actually come against a 3-4-3 formation yet. So it will be interesting to see if they play that against us, whether they go with a sort of stock standard formation there. We're going to have a look at their goals, see where they scored them from. Assist locations, most of them out wide actually, which is interesting. So have to keep an eye on their wide plays. They actually score quite a few goals from through balls. So probably through from the middle, or maybe from the side, sorting through, which suggests that they've got a lot of runners and stuff through the middle, so keep an eye on that. Lots of goals from crosses as well, which is interesting. So it looks like a lot of their strength is out wide, so actually probably maybe look at negating that potentially. We could actually man mark their wide players, or we could actually play a little bit wider ourselves to actually sort of try and shut down their wide players and funnel through into the middle. We could set up opposition instructions to make sure their wide players are sort of turned inwards, so play their you can actually choose like the feet, left or right foot. So for example on the left, make sure that we actually send them onto their right foot, which means that they wouldn't be able to sort of cross off on their left. So we actually do that, funnel them inwards. We'll sort of look at that in a minute, see what formation they actually end up doing. Grant Johnson's finished his Dutch course, which is good. Alrighty, game time. They are going with the 4-2-1-3. They're pretty stock standard formation. So who do they have out wide? They've got Izzy Brown, which is fairly quick. Actually not really all that amazing. He's not all that great a player. How's he been playing? He's doing fairly well. What about Eredivisie? He's actually got 2 goals, 3 assists, so he has been doing quite well. Keep an eye on him. And out on the other side, they've got Renato Ibarra. He's been doing 3 goals and 2 assists as well. So 41 dribbles. Wowzers. 41 dribbles in 7 games. That's bananas. That's ridiculous. 41 dribbles in 7 games. That's 41 successful dribbles, by the way. That's that number there. So obviously he's very quick, and I'm assuming his dribbling and stuff is going to be very, very good as well. So I think we're actually going to go for him. We're going to right foot only. So he's on the right. So we're actually going to switch him onto his left, given that he's right-footed. We're going to make sure he's actually can't really cross and actually is funneled inwards onto his weaker foot. What about Izzy Brown? He's on the right foot as well. He actually plays on the left, doesn't he? So we'll switch him onto his... I suppose we could switch him onto his right. It is his natural foot, though. We'll see. Maybe we'll just go for the other guy for the moment. Alrighty, guys. Team selection. Who we've got? So Kenny needs a little bit of a rest. We don't really actually have any other right backs because Van Ryan's injured for a while. I think I'm actually going to put Veltman. Give Veltman a run out on the right, and we'll give Riederwald a go in there in the centre position. Mr. Bazoer is going to. I think playing the support role there, Vagiva's actually going to... no, actually, we know we play Nemanja G, because he actually... I don't know, because we've got... He actually can't play for the Wolfsburg game. We do have another one against Go Ahead Eagles. So I'm actually going to give him a rest for this game. Play him in the Go Ahead Eagles, and then he won't play in the Wolfsburg game. So Vagiva's going to have a go there. We're going to put Nuri in place of Klaassen, give Klaassen a little bit of a rest. Shone, he's probably going to keep going. We put Eunice out on the left. And I think El Ghazi will give Milik a bit of a rest as well, give El Ghazi another game. Is there anyone here that we should be playing? Not really. Everyone else is pretty okay. Probably give Dykes another go as well. In at left back, give Bollerson a rest. Maybe we should play Bollerson for this game. Play Dykes in the Go Ahead Eagles, and then Bollerson will be... Oh, we should do that. Bollerson will be right for the Wolfsburg game. Alrighty, guys. This is going to be our formation. I'm just going to show you the opposition instructions we come up with. Probably... I think I'm actually going to funnel their wingers inwards, given that they've had a lot of success. It may backfire because they could be trying to come inwards anyway, but especially on the Ibarra guy on the right, he's weak on his right foot. So if we can funnel him onto his left, so Renato Ibarra here, onto his left foot, and I think we'll do the same for Izzy Brown, funnel him onto his right foot there. And actually for Ibarra, actually going to say standoff, which I'm going to say never for... Because basically I don't want our guys to close him down really quickly and get skinned. Actually, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to actually go for tight marking. Because I don't want our guys sort of be right next to him and then he's going to be able to turn them really easy. I'd rather them sort of stand off, have a little bit of room, and then go from there. So I'm actually go for closing down never as well. Maybe that's a bit of a risk. Actually, we're going for applied vice. Tackling, closing him down, weaker. Alright, I'm going to clear that and go back to initially what we started with. So him on his left and him on his right. I'm actually going to go for closing down never on Ibarra, given he's so many dribbles. Hopefully our guys sort of stand off him then, which means he can't sort of skin them and get past them. Alright guys, team talk. We're going to encourage our guys and say assertively good luck. Yeah, one of them worked. Just fine. Alright guys, I'm going to pause the video and we'll be back with some results soon. Hey everyone, and we're back. A fairly comfortable 2-1 win there. We had a penalty in the first half, and Shone converted that, and then Buzzware stored an absolute screamer to finish it off. So they scored a late goal, a bit of a rubbish goal from our side of things, but it wasn't too bad. Well, fairly comfortable game. Our little tactic of isolating these two guys actually worked really well. The first guy, the attacking midfielder right, was actually taken off at half-time, and then the AML was actually taken off at 62 minutes. Neither of them really did anything. So that was really quite pleasing to say that they were sort of really isolated and didn't really have as much of an impact as what they normally did. So that was good to say. Cool, righty. So pretty stock standard game. I think what I'm going to do, actually pause the video again, and I'll run through I'll actually run up until the next Wolfsburg game, which is the home game. So which is going to be probably quite a crucial game for us in terms of the Champions League. Yeah, so we've got a Dutch Cup game against Go Ahead Eagles. We should be fairly comfortable with that. So yep, I'll see you all guys soon for the next Wolfsburg game. Hey guys, and we're back. Alrighty, so we did have a win against Go Ahead Eagles. We actually needed penalties to actually get through to that. We didn't play very well. We did play a lot of our B team though, so fairly happy to get through, which was fine. So we are up against our game for Wolfsburg now, which is good. So you can jump in and have a look at the team here. It's pretty stock standard. It's sort of our strongest team we can field at the moment. Obviously, given that Nemanja G can't play, we've got Bazouer in there in the deep playing playmaker role, so that should be pretty good. Well, our guys are up to fitness. Actually gave our guys a extra day off, so they've had 2 days rest. So they should be fairly well rested, which is good. So, going to be a big game for us. Going to be very, very interesting to see. It's interesting. So we probably need, if we get a win here, I think it should pretty much set up the group for us. So hopefully we should do fairly well. They're going to be a lot more attacking down their right. So I'm actually going to start off having Fisher to man mark their right back, just to make sure we don't have the problems that we did last time. What have you suggested here? Not too much. No, I'm going to clear that. I'm not really interested in doing that for the moment. Alrighty, so we're going to encourage them, or assertively say to give them it's a great opportunity to show all the pundits that they've been right to back us up. Actually did motivate them, which was quite good, so that is awesome. So we're going to jump into our tactics and jump to Fisher and set him up with man marking their right back there. Hopefully that means that we can shut them down a little bit more. Alright guys, I'm going to pause the video here and we'll be back hopefully with a win at the end of the game. Hey guys, and we're back. A really good 1-0 victory over Wolfsburg at home is very, very pleasing as a result there. So really, really happy about that. We played really quite well. We controlled the game really well. And it's one of the only clean sheets we've kept recently. So that was good. Klaassen scored a very good goal there. So I'm actually going to say we did really well. I thought we did really well, so I think they deserve that. So I'm actually going to show you the only goal in the match. It was quite a good one. So I'll show you the goal here. Turn down the sound there. It was a really good sort of well-weighted pass. So Kenny T actually set up the goal getter, had a little bit of space, slides it into Klaassen, and he just knocks it in. Really good goal there, so that was good. 27th minute, and we sort of controlled the game from there really well. Didn't really have any major problems, which was good. So that is pleasing. We've actually topped the group now, so equal with Real Madrid. So 2 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss, which is actually doing a lot better than what I thought we would. So obviously it's not over yet. We've still got another, 3 games to go. So home one against Madrid. 2 games to go. Home against Madrid and home against Dinamo Kiev. It's actually 2 home games, so if we can keep our run up, if we can actually get hopefully 1 more win, so probably against Dinamo Kiev, probably going to lose one against Real Madrid. I still expect to do that, even though we did beat them before. If we get a win against Dinamo Kiev, we're going to be through, so very, very pleasing there, which is good. Kenny T playing really well. He's actually superseded that right back spot. He's our number 1 choice at the moment over Van Rijn, so especially Van Rijn's injured at the moment, so that is good. Very, very pleased at that, so doing a lot better in the group stage than what I would have thought we would have done. Cool. Holland squad announced. I don't think there's anyone in here that we've actually got. Or do we? We do. Sillerson. Oh no, that's not. Oh, it is. Oh, so Bazouer's actually been selected for his Holland, which is a little bit surprising. He's only 19 years old. Obviously, he's quite a good player, but I don't think he would be a start. It's actually interesting that Veltman hasn't got selected again. He was getting selected early on. Sillerson's been selected, which is he should be. Cool. So we've got quite a few internationals there. Obviously, lots of people in the under 19s and under 21s, which is nice to see. Cool. What I think I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to run through to the Feyenoord game. I think that'll be our last sort of action in this episode. So 28.5 minutes on the episode. I think the Feyenoord game would be a good spot. After the Feyenoord game would be a good spot to actually end this episode. So I'll see you on a tick. Hey everyone, and we're back. It is game time against Feyenoord. A few things to note. We actually do have a fairly big gap between the game against Feyenoord and our next game. So 13 days. So actually definitely play our number 1 team because we've got enough time to have a bit of a rest in between. Another thing to note, if we jump into here, if we jump back to the pre-match, here we go. So it is actually raining, and if we have a look into their stadium, it's actually not roofed. So the pitch is going to be a little bit wet, so I think we're actually going to bump up our passing range a little bit, just up to the next notch. So we're probably going to take off shorter passing and just keep retained possession, but we'll take off shorter passing just so we're not sort of limited in terms of that. So it's something I generally do. Alrighty, jump into our team. So Sillerson's going to stay. I think we're going to have to give Kenny T another run, even though he's 91%. Definitely going to fulfill his promise for getting games. I mean, if he complains about not getting enough game time, we're going to go a little bit bananas because he's had heaps of games. So he should be definitely happy about that. I think I'm going to keep our 2 first choice guys. Probably going to give Dykes a run at left back. He hasn't had a game in a few sort of games, so and to give Yunus a run at attacking midfield left as well. His match sharpness is starting to come down, so we'll give him a run there. Give El Ghazi a run at striking, so the striker role. We're going to put Nemanja G back in for Bazaware there, and we're going to give Vagiva a start as well in place of Heitinger. Just because Vagiva has the promise to get some more game time, so probably Riedewald probably needs a run as well actually, so maybe we should put him in for Veltman. That would be quite an inexperienced backline though. Alright, we'll do that. We'll start him. We can always put Veltman back in if he doesn't do that well, but it gives both of them a start in the league, which is what they sort of want, so that is good. Alright, is there anyone else that we really want to play? Probably Nuri needs a game. Shoney's doing okay. Serraro's doing okay. Nuri's had a few games, hasn't he? Maybe we should give him a game in place of Klaassen though. Just to give him a game. He does have a fair few. He's only, what, 18 as well, isn't he? So he did come from the B team, so... No, we're gonna run with this team, guys. Alright, so I'm going to run through this, and we'll sort of see you at the end of the game. Hey everyone, and we're back. A 4-2 victory over Feyenoord was quite good. It was really quite a funny game. There were some great goals, there's some really rubbish goals, but overall we controlled the game fairly well. Held the Lions' share of possession, which was good, and that's actually sent us top with the game to spare, the game in hand, so that is quite pleasing. So, pretty good start of the season. I'm going to show you the goals here. There's quite a bit of action to show you. Here we go. Alright, so this is the first goal. Actually, we should take it back a little bit. Just, where are we? Into about here. This was an absolutely stunning counter-attack. This is probably the best team goal that I've actually seen us play or score all season. So it came from a turnover, which we're going to see quite shortly. There we are, headed out, and Shone starts the move here. So we started from here, and you can actually see here, we're not really doing it that well. Like, we've only got 1 on 2, as we can see there. But it's brilliant. El Ghazi does it very, very well. Sends a pass through there. Klaassen, as you can see here, we've got 2 guys on. Klaassen did really well to actually attract the attention of all these players here. Slides it through to Yunus, and he finishes on the first touch. That is a goal that the 07-08 Man United team would have been proud of. A wonderful, wonderful goal. Which was good. And rightio, the next goal. We saw, as you can see here, we scored 2 really early goals, which was quite pleasing. This one came from a corner, or initiated from a corner anyway. Which was good. You're going to see this one shortly. So Dykes does well, makes a really good run in there, makes the move there, and then just slots it through to El Ghazi there, which was nice, pretty easy goal. So we led for most of the match, and then had a flurry of 4 goals sort of in the later half of the game. This is the first goal that we conceded from a counter-attack. So you can see the guys here, they from a counter-attack. So we actually should, like, looking at this, we're 3 on 1. We shouldn't lose from a counter-attack here, so it was disappointing to actually lose from a counter-attack. Or lose a goal from a counter-attack. Our guys didn't really track these guys. They went too far over this way and then leaves their players free over here. And Elijah just slots it home there. So that was disappointing. That was not very well defended. We sort of lost our heads a little bit there. Didn't make very good decisions. This is our next goal, so our 3rd goal. Yep, our 3rd goal. So Shone scores this one. Pretty stock standard goals, not anything too amazing. We'll watch it through though. And yep, Shone just pops up there and slots it in, so it was good. Alrighty, this is a bad goal from us. Veltman doesn't cover himself in glory in this goal, so he was probably culpable, I think, for this goal. So he come through there. There's just a little bit of a lucky hit and hope ball. It's a nothing ball. Veltman actually had the inside run, and then he just loses the guy, and there's Veltman there, and he just lets him slot that ball home. So bad defending by Veltman. That was definitely his fault. And this is the last goal from a set piece. Riedewald just tucks it away. So pretty stock standard goal there. Gets the flick on and tucks it away. So that's the 6 goals. So pretty entertaining game there, guys. It was quite interesting to watch. And like I said, we're doing pretty well, sitting top of the Eredivisie. So that is good. Kenny needs another rest. Let's just say give him a rest for a couple of weeks. Alright, no rest then. We may give him a rest here and there. I'm just a little bit worried about resting him, given that he's still got that promise that he wants. He does. Is the promises? Where's the promise here? Promises. Yeah, he wants increased first team football. 5 days left, and so actually, it is good to actually see these promises here. You actually see how you guys are actually getting. They're all actually happy. Looks at the moment when you see here, they're all sort of happy here. So Riedewald and Kenny T are happy they've gotten first team football, and Nick Vergeva's still got quite a bit of time to run on here, so he should be happy. Kenny's actually nearly run out for only five more days left, so That's good. Alrighty, guys, I think we're going to end the episode here. We've into halfway through November, which is good. Fair bit chunk of the game progressed through. So we're going to look at the Eredivisie ladder here. So like we said, we're 1 point clear with the game in hand, which is awesome. So that is quite pleasing. So if we win our next game, we'll obviously be, 4 points clear. So after 11 games, which is fairly good. So I've actually had a quite good run in the last episode. I haven't lost in, 4 games? And then really sort of only had a draw before that and won a big stack through. So had a little bit of early form sort of wobbles at the start. Didn't play that well in the Champions League. We weren't sort of, I think our pre-season wasn't great. Our tactics weren't up to fluidity. Our guys probably weren't match fit 100% is what they should have been. So we scraped through in the Champions League game. But since then, we've actually done really, really well. Had some really good results. Haven't had a lot of clean sheets, though, which is probably the only thing that is a little bit of a negative. We haven't very rarely have we kept a clean sheet, so may look at tightening up our defensive stuff quite soon, but we're doing pretty well at the moment. We're winning, which is really all that matters, so that is pretty good. Alright guys, going to end the episode here. Hope you enjoyed this series. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. Hope you'll stick around for the rest of it. Let me know in feedback, comments, all that kind of stuff. Always enjoy reading comments, and as always, it would be great if you could subscribe to the channel and like the video. Alright guys, I'll see you all for the next episode.